No, as look, you all as we go live, you all
Sweetie,
get the chance to see
sweetie,
what.
I don't see Tiger One just sitting up front so we don't get too
It's
deep.
called, we need to put these wherever we're gonna put them over here.
Yeah.
No, it's just not gonna be all.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you. We are actually,
That spot that used to be there was a different club. They used to have fights all the time.
Used to be what?
okay, is there a
Used to be
way
another club,
for,
yeah, it was one of them pop-ups on 6400 West Washington.
okay.
Oh. Yeah, that did used to be something. Oh, no, no.
Like for real.
This is actually,
What happened?
no, it's got something going over it. I was trying to untangle, cause I really, never mind, it doesn't have the
There's
reach.
a little bit.
I just
Ready?
wanted to, hello, Miss Kimberly,
10 seconds.
Is she on Facebook or?
on the YouTube. I'm trying to make sure.
All right, and we are back. So I just wanted to go ahead and we're going to jump in. We have two very special guests in studio with us this evening, and we're going to turn the mic over to them for just a moment so that they can introduce themselves. One of them you're very familiar with because you've seen his face, and the other one, we talk about him all the time. So if y'all will just introduce yourselves and we'll get into it. You gonna start with you, babe? Go ahead. I was about to say the mic is in front of you.
Well, I'm known as Tiger Gray. Ain't nobody special.
That's so not true. The original Mr. Gray.
The original Tiger. New to Indy, met these beautiful people when I first came, and made a great connection.
Good guy. Very good guy.
And you, sir.
I don't know if everyone knows me. I am Gary
He my
Tippett
man.
Jr. I am the husband of one of your co-hosts here, and I'm glad to be here to share in this moment. Don't start. Good Lord.
We can if we want to.
Right.
You know what?
Cause it's
We're on air.
called
We're on
with
air.
Keith.
People can see you. They can hear you.
Don't start none. Won't be none. You gotta go home.
Okay. So one of the things that we're just gonna jump into it. So one of the things that we hear a lot of our women holler out to are just, oh, I want a good man. I need a good man, or he was such a good man, and this and that and the other, or you need to get you a good man. And then the other thing is people are always talking about I want a strong woman, or I like strong women. Let me tell you something. Everybody is not capable. Did y'all hear what I said? Everyone is not capable when it comes to those strong men and those good women and y'all know what I'm saying.
Good men
Good
and
men
strong women.
Everybody ain't ready. Everybody ain't ready. So we're gonna jump into things. Okay, so it was an article, and what really started this one was there was an article, and it says, "Men, before you fall in love with a strong woman, be prepared for these 7 things." And one of the reasons that really struck me is because men that I know will say, I want a good woman, or I want a strong woman. I can't do with no weak woman. I need my woman to be, she got to be strong. She got to be strong. And I'm like, okay, well, here's some things you can expect when you're in a relationship with a strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
She wants commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You're either all in or all out. Ain't no half stepping, because she don't have time. She knows what she wants. She's determined. Do it or get gone. She will see through your excuses, so don't even try them. She is fiercely independent. I had to take a pause there. She is fiercely independent. Some folks are like, oh, she's too independent. She doesn't need me for nothing. But these are the things that when you're asking for a strong woman, these are the things that you have to understand come along with having a strong woman. She's had to, part of her strength and part of her being, having acquired that strength of who she is she's had to go through some things. And in going through some things, she's had to learn to survive and, to be that strong, that strong backbone and she's had to learn how to fend for, take care of, and handle things on her own. She may seem tough, but treat her right and you'll see the other side. I think both my sister and I are really guilty of that one.
That's why I'm quiet.
That's what I was about to say, because I have seen my sister melt.
Shh.
Yeah, I can't go into all of that. I'm getting dirty lips.
Shh.
She is not going to bend to fit your definition of perfect. She will say what's on her mind and expects you to do the same. And she will love you for the man that you are. So those are just, I guess, the 7 qualities, 7 things that you should expect when you're dealing with a strong woman. And what are your thoughts on that? Either of you. Unless they're looking at me.
My first thought when you first brought the topic up was there are a lot of strong women because of just life in general. It just makes you one of those situations where the strong survive.
Yeah.
And if you're in the middle, you either survive or you fall. But I had a thought. When you see a lion or lioness, and you see them laying there, they don't have to roar. You already know.
Just the presence.
So, newly dating, 4 or 5 years dating, I meet a lot of women that tell you they're strong.
Yes. Yes.
You haven't dated for a while, so you don't know what the new woman is.
She was like, you be quiet.
I'm gonna kick you under the table.
No, I'm just teasing because he actually encountered that with me. So I don't get fussed at.
Because
I was an old head when, excuse me, I'm eating. I was an old head when this fella came into my life. I was in my late 30s. Independent woman, career woman, had just dealt with a few years prior being my mother's caregiver until she transitioned, still being the strong one, staying put, in the state that I was in so that my brother would have a home base to come back to because he was serving our country overseas and, just basically doing what a lot of women do, putting my life on hold to make sure that things were well with everyone else.
Right.
And when he came into the picture, I was actually maybe a couple of months fresh out of the hospital from some health issues or what have you, and wasn't really looking for anything significant.
Relationship.
I wanted I've said this on more than one occasion. I needed a maintenance man. I needed somebody to keep the transmission, running right. Keep the
Lord have
fluids.
mercy.
Keep all the fluids topped off, and and I fell in love with that raspy voice. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just one of those deals where in our conversations, the man that was presented to me was one where we had a lot of common ground.
Right.
But as we dated, married, and proceeded with married life, while we still had those commonplaces, there were things that we didn't discuss. Those things that weren't, because I was basically a homebody
Right.
when he came in the picture because of my health. But that is not who
That
I
wasn't
am.
Right.
So when I tell
That
people,
creates
yeah, and so
issue.
yeah, so when he got used to us being around each other and doing everything together, and then I started getting a little better, and then I started branching back out into who I've always been prior to him. It was like, hold up, I'm used to XYZ. So that right there created a dynamic. It wasn't necessarily a problem, but it was a dynamic that needed to be dealt with and addressed because the woman he met, while she was strong in mind, wasn't strong in body.
Right.
But when the body met the mind again, and I became more active, then it became a situation where we had to find balance. And what I told Kenyatta was, being with him took me from being a woman and a sexual partner to being a lady and a wife. Which kind of shook me when the realization hit, like, I've always been a woman. I've always been a sexual being. But then as a lady, there's certain things that, even though I'm used to just basically answering to myself, I have to remember things that I do now represent him as well. So I have to kind of not tone down who I am or redirect, but I have to be cognizant of how the things I do and will affect him. As a man, as my husband, I have to be cognizant of how it's going to make him feel. Which in the past, it really didn't matter because I was single. If you like it, fine. If you don't, fine. So, that was an adjustment for me, especially with him telling me, we haven't gotten to the video yet, so we'll address that part when that part comes. But it was different. It was definitely different. It was eye-opening. And it was kind of sexy when he did finally, because we all, put our best foot forward. But then when we did have our first tete-a-tete, and he was like, look, I told sis, I was like, even though I was like, what? Who he talking to? On the flip side of that coin, I couldn't tell him. But I was like, yeah, yeah, I kind of like that because see, I've always said I need a good guy, I need a gentleman, but I need for my man to have just enough thug left up in him to handle my strong will and my strong personality, because a jellyback man can't. A jellyback man can't handle me.
But see, in all of that, you never had to tell him that. You never had to tell him, I'm a strong woman. And see, That's my point. A good man doesn't have to tell you he's a good man. His actions.
Yes.
And a good woman doesn't have to, because what I encounter a lot of times is people are
sorry, y'all.
trying to,
Put on the side.
yeah, they're trying to tell you this, hey, this is a good man, or this is, I'm a strong woman. You don't have to say it. One of my heroes is my mom. And she was a soft-spoken person who didn't raise her voice. But she could walk in a room and command attention.
Command it.
And it would be times where we were in settings and people would walk up to her as if she was in charge, and we're like, no. Because she just...
She exuded that.
Right, exactly. And so a lot of times we, even as men, we get louder, because as we're louder, then we're more correct.
Or so people think.
Oh boy.
As women get louder, they're stronger.
Or so people think.
So, the big, I guess the big point I'm trying to make is that you can command attention. You can
Without putting on a show.
without putting on the show.
I like how you said that.
You know, when I met my wife, I'm pretty sure that her and Kenyatta talk about me all the time, so I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this before. But, as a man myself, I'm 2 years from 50, and, when you're young, you don't really think about what the future holds. It's more like, I'm just gonna live in the moment. But as you get older, you tend to find yourself seeing those qualities that you were raised with, that, the qualities that you
Y'all forgive
ascertained
me.
over the years.
Forgive me.
You know what I
Trying to
mean?
Get it set back up.
You actually start to exude those qualities. So, at the same token,
I hate this.
when you see within yourself, just like you or myself, there's certain women we can run into and we'll automatically say to ourselves, nah, can't do nothing with her, But then there's other women we see and we be like, yeah, I can work with her. And the reason that is because we actually see something
Right.
in
I'm just gonna
them
have to hold it.
that they may not see in themselves at the time. Just like the average woman, if she's speaking to have a good man, wanting a good man, she knows whether or not this man is about his business. One thing I've learned in life, a woman can tell you whether or not she want to sleep with you the first 5 minutes she meets you.
That's the truth.
Most of the time we talk our way out of it.
Okay,
Exactly.
see, okay. I was off camera, so y'all didn't see my face. But when G said a woman knows, and she knows usually within 5 minutes, I was just like, mm-hmm. And then I was just like, because my thing is, I say it all the time, folks will talk themselves out.
Mom,
Tiger
Tiger just agreed with you, baby. And he told the truth.
I ain't going there right now. But folks can talk themselves out of some stuff. I'm just saying. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. And it is from an author. And she's, it was a Facebook clip. And so I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it loud enough. I'm going to put it up to my microphone so everyone else can hear it. And it says, in talking about, so you say you want a good man. Okay?
You want to turn around?
A lot of sisters do not want good men. They prefer these type of brothers that don't have goals, that don't have a good job, that don't have drive, don't have ambition, that aren't good protectors, that lack in these areas where a man should be plentiful in. They go for these type of men instead of a good man, because when they have this type of brother, they can tell him everything he's doing wrong. They can belittle him. They can disrespect him. And they like that. That's why when when they were talking about it, they were laughing, they were giggling, they were giving each other half laugh. I'm like, yes, I talk to my man like that too. I could tell my man that too. Ha ha ha. They think it's funny because they like the idea that they feel superior over their man. They like feeling like they are in control of him. They like that position of authority, of power. They like being able to say, get the fuck up off my couch. I'm about to kick you out my house. You need to do this. You ain't shit. They like being able to talk to men like that. They like that. But if the role was reversed and they did have a good man, now they can't talk to him like that. They can't be disrespectful to him. Now they actually have to watch their mouth. Now they have to level up. Now they might actually have to be submissive. Hold up. This is one of the reasons why women prefer those type of men over good men. Because a good man is a man that is plentiful in all these areas where these other men lack. The brothers that you do pay attention to, they lack in these areas where good men actually have the stuff, you know, they have the goal, the ambition, the drive. If they don't have a lot of money, they're working towards it. You know what I mean? They are protectors, they are leaders, they provide guidance and all this, the knowledge and the strategic planning and all this other stuff that comes with being a good, strong, masculine black man. They have all of this. So now he can actually turn around and tell you where you lack as a female. As a feminine woman, he can say, you're not feminine enough, you're not nurturing enough, you're not affectionate enough, you're not sexual enough, you don't have sex enough, you know, you're not sensual enough, you're not creative enough, you don't teach your children enough, you don't cook decent meals enough, you don't keep this house clean enough. And if a man tells you that, now, oh my goodness, he is controlling, he's a misogynist, he is a chauvinist. But it's okay for you to point out everything that a man does wrong. It's okay for you to tell him what he needs to do. It's okay for you to point out all his flaws and tell him all the areas he lacks as a man, but a man can't do that to you. That is a problem with black women, and we need to stop that. It is a huge problem. And a man that is a good man, he has standards. He's going to want you to do better. The same way you're going to want your no good brother to do better. He's going to want you to do better too. Because he has options. And that's another thing. One of the reasons why sisters don't want good men, because good men have options, and they understand that these women these options, they're good women. But the brother that's not a good man, his options are not women. They're the type of woman that you would say are no competition, right? So you don't have nothing to worry about with him. You feel like he only gonna be with some type of bummy chick, you know, you think. But with a good man, you know he has some real good options. So you got to level up. That means you got to do some work with yourself. You have to change some things. You have to improve in some areas. You have to elevate. And sisters don't really, they're trying to really work on that thing.
Oh, okay. So,
This whole
Okay, here it goes.
feminist movement have made women feel like they're just perfect. Nothing they do is wrong. It's all on a man. So when you do have a good man that's like, oh no, you need to work on this. You need to work on that. They don't like that. Now they feel inferior. Now they feel inadequate. No, they like to feel like they're perfect. They like to feel like they're the ones in control. So that's why they go for this man that don't have nothing, that doesn't do all the things that they want them to do. They lack standards. And I'm not even gonna say they lack standards. They may have them, but they prefer this man that doesn't have everything going on, because they just like being able to belittle him, and they like being disrespectful because they can't disrespect the good man. They can't talk down on him.
okay. Now, I'm going to go back to, I have had some people in my life, some women in my life, who, the men that she talked about, the men that they were able to belittle, that they were able to talk down to, that they could, you know, scream and holler, let me point out your every single flaw, although I have none, you know, because I'm perfect. You know, let me point out your every single flaw. Let me tell you how this is, you know, this is wrong and that is wrong. And let me be in control. Let me dominate you to the point where, you know, and you're not going nowhere. Because I pull all the strings. I hold all the cards. And because I have beaten you down so much, until, again, you ain't going nowhere, you ain't got no options, I ain't worrying about nothing, then, you know, that's when we get to talking about, okay, so then do you really want a good man?
Or do you want a child
Or do you want a child? Because I know that's
that you
just
can sleep with?
legally.
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 Well,
Because you know
That's
it's
basically what it boils
yeah.
down to.
I mean, if you do you want a man or like she said, or do you want a child, a man child? Do you want someone who can say, "This is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna handle this. I'm getting ready to handle this. This is what I need you to do, but I'm getting ready to handle this over here." So, is that what you want, or do you want someone who you can sit up here and say, "You gonna do this, and this because I said so"?
not. I'm sorry, not.
Okay, well, speak on it.
Not. I mean, when I met my wife, I told her from the gate, I was all in. I wasn't turning back. We wasn't getting no divorce. I told her just like this. Nigga, they stuck me with a needle. I can't stand needles. I bled for you. I ain't going nowhere.
That's what he said.
And, you know, and I told my wife, see, I'm the type of guy, I'm not trying to sit here and have a woman take care of me. That's not who never been that person. But I want us to build it together.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That way, if you decide to go your way and I decide, baby, right here, you take that part, I'm going to take this part, and we're going to go on our separate ways. That keeps the peace. But if she puts in more than me or I put in more than her, then there's a problem. Because she feels she deserves more based on what she may or may not have taken or thinks she has taken from me. And then I'm vice versa. But at the same time, I would rather, you know, me being a strong black man, I was raised up by my grandfather, my uncles, my dad, my mom, my aunts, and you didn't play that with them. I got beat for everything. So it was either you walk a line or you gonna get broke up some more. And I learned to walk that line. You know, I remember a time, like I said, one other show I was on. I remember I couldn't be out past the streetlights coming on. Now you got babies hanging out on the corner 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. But, I mean,
That's a whole
whole
that's
nother
a
ball
whole
game. Whole
deeper
nother ball
issue.
game right there.
because
But
I'm a government conspiracy person, and they
yeah,
they try to break up the family, and
yeah, but you, I mean, right is right. You know,
I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple that you remember your grandmother and your grandfather, and they used to sit in the car. They had the old Buicks, and then they had the LTDs and the pickup trucks. And grandmama used to she'd get on the driver's side, and she sat in the middle.
exactly.
And granddaddy sat right next to him
With his arm around.
with his arm around him.
I'm doing this here.
Now,
That
show
arm
me
wrap.
a car that don't have a divider
Big divider.
in the middle.
That's right.
There's not a car that don't have a divider in the middle, separating the husband and the wife.
You know, but in actuality, we have to look at the people for who they are. You know, I don't care what goes on in your life. One thing Maya Angelou said, if a person shows you who they are, you believe them.
The first time.
Exactly. So I'm just saying.
So you crazy?
No, I used to be.
Oh,
But see, I was out in the world at that time too. I was doing
Wilding
other
out.
stuff, you know. And that's when I mentioned earlier, that was my younger years. I was just living day to day, moment to moment. I didn't really think about the future. But as I got older, I realized, hold up, man. I'm sick of jumping from woman to woman to woman. I'm sick of taking chances on my life, jumping to woman to woman to woman. I'm sick of I want something out of life. I want a marriage. I want a family. And when I saw these goals in myself from way back when, I could remember things my grandmother told me, my granddad, you know, all these people that have passed on in my life, I can remember them telling me, you're going to get to a certain age, you're going to remember this. You know, and
That goes back. That's train a child in the way it
There
should
you
go,
go.
and when it's old, it
It will
won't
not
depart.
depart.
But see, a lot of people don't really understand that because they think, oh, I trained them, and they supposed to do right now. No. It
No.
says when they're old, but it doesn't mean old in age. It means mature.
When you mature.
When you mature. You know, there's a lot of things you're taught, you don't even understand it at the moment that you're taught it.
And there was a certain point in Dee's and our relationship before we got married. She had, you know, this little thing going on before I made it into the picture. And for some odd reason, I guess she used to talk to this cat like this. Cause we was at her godmother's house and she just went off. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute.
Hey. You can't be telling everybody I was
So
mean.
then I looked at her, I said, oh, come here, right over here.
That was the day I got hot in the britches.
I said, you are not gonna talk to me like that. I don't give a who, how, did what. It wasn't me. So you're not gonna disrespect me like this. You know, I'm here for you. And, you know, after that, we began to, instead of talking at each other, we began to talk to each other. Instead of out talking one another, we began to listen to each other.
You know, there was
Excuse me.
there was on Jada Pinkett Smith posted on her Instagram that she's got some little show on her Instagram, and she posted on Instagram that she did something, or Will did something, and she lost it. She yelled at him and cursed him, and she
Red table talk. Yep.
yeah, and she said he took a rolled up newspaper, bopped her on the head.
Now I don't think that would have gone over too well
And
with
took
me.
her in the back. And he said, listen, he's like, we not gonna yell at each other, we not gonna curse at each other. These things are not gonna happen. And they said from that point on, they have never.
Okay, but don't think she didn't react to the whole.
Oh, yeah,
head
she
popping
did.
thing.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh
she
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
She did.
Oh yeah.
But it took a minute for her to, you know, and see, a lot of times men don't understand strong women. Sometimes a strong woman, you're not going to get your point across immediately. What you have to do with a strong woman is you have to make sure they understand that you're listening to them when they're making their point. Then once they finish making their point, if you're still in disagreement or still have want to make another point, you make your point and you leave it, because they're gonna process it,
We do.
and then later on
We'll come back.
they'll
to
come
you.
back to
Right.
you and they'll say, you know, so and so.
Right.
I don't really remember, but go ahead. And then so you have to just kind of leave it alone. You can't dominate a strong.
No.
You don't dominate a strong woman, and you don't fight fire with fire, and you don't take them by force.
You have to love them past
You
the pain.
right. You
Got to.
exactly. It's
I need that whole segment. We just gonna we're gonna edit that whole segment. That's about to be a whole blurb by itself on or somebody's page. One, love her past her pain,
yeah.
or him. Two, not get ready to dominate a strong woman. Don't try to fight fire with fire. And know that if you come at a strong woman about something, give her a minute to process that.
Right.
And let her come back to you with it.
We really do need
Because
that time.
otherwise, okay, can you not just focus on my boobs? Okay, because otherwise, like, my face is up higher. Because otherwise,
It wasn't even on you at that time. It was on the table.
that was the man
As a
camera.
man can. But you know what I noticed? The thing that I've learned to do, in
This
my
thing called life.
relationship
I hate holding it.
with, you know, me and my wife, the thing I've learned is just you have to be able to laugh.
He saw me when I said that.
you have to be able to laugh through your pain.
Oh
They
my
come
God,
out,
yes.
the legs come out.
You know, and what I've learned to
But you
do
can't hold it right here.
when my wife and I
Stand it up.
may have a disagreement about something, I will make a joke. I will literally make a joke. You know what I'm saying? To kind of, you know, throw things off so we don't get into such a disarray that it causes a problem later on. So, I mean, I feel like, and you know me, I mess with you all the time
Yes, you do.
because I love you. Number one.
Oh yeah,
Number two, to keep being upset with each other, we have to laugh.
we do.
So, us being cancers, we gonna have clowns anyway.
This is true.
So, might as well,
This thing called life, y'all. I'm trying to get this thing right because
might as
we
well,
started late.
you know, go ahead and accept it the way it's coming, laugh about it, and be
It's
through it.
working my
Right.
nerves, not
I
being
think
right.
one of the things, I think that humor is so important, especially when you're dealing with strong personalities. And I think that, especially in our house, we have to laugh. We have to laugh. We have 3.5
Oh my God.
headstrong females in one house.
With just me.
With just G, and he's just like, there are some
have
days
to
when he
hold
just
it.
goes in the
This
room and just
picture
be
is
like, oh, I'm not talking to none of y'all. But at the same time, you know, we laugh in our house. We have to. I mean, it is essential in our house. You know, humor and just trying to maintain a good spirit is essential in our house.
That's it.
And what I have noticed and what I can appreciate is when we are, one of us is, not just the females, but even if G is having a moment, we all tend to, when we're having our moments, tend to isolate ourselves. We tend to isolate. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. We tend to isolate ourselves. Yeah, we tend to isolate ourselves to the point that this is why I hate starting late. For those of you that are on the live feed, because I didn't get set up properly, so I apologize for the jacked up video. But we, I got it, babe. I got it. But that's what we tend to do. We tend to, if Key's having an off day, or I'm having one, or the big girl's having one, or G's
She's a
having
ghost
one,
anyway.
we tend to kind of pull back and we go into our own space.
See, that, okay.
And the other people recognize that and give us that opportunity to.
Right. See, that's the thing. That's the thing about it is, you know, back on topic. Do you really want, and what does it look like to you? And what it really wants, and what does it look like to you? It's different for everybody.
Right. Absolutely.
So your interpretation is, you're going to interpret it differently. But as a strong man, one of our things is to women only need certain things. They only need certain things.
What are these certain things that we need? I'm just curious.
Security,
Okay.
safety,
Okay.
and honesty.
I think you just said a mouthful, y'all.
So once you instill that in your mate, you know, when you do things like you say you're gonna be somewhere at a certain time and you be there at a certain time, or you've been gone for a while and they call you and you answer, you don't ignore your phone and then call back and say, hey, well, no, you answer your phone and say, hey babe, I'm in the middle of something right now, you know.
Now I will give G
Now,
that he does that.
when you can answer your phone anytime, when you can say where you are, when you can be honest about things, when you can make her feel safe and secure in the relationship
It makes a difference.
and have confidence in you, it changes the whole game.
When you say you're gonna do something and you follow through.
And certain circumstances happen and you can't.
But see, those are
And you
those
can,
are, yeah.
and when you come, you don't try to hide it, you don't try to brush it over, or if you mess up, just, hey.
I'm sorry, I did that.
I was brought up
I
in a
apologize.
household where we got two punishments. You got the, we used to call it the Big Mac. You got the Big Mac. When mama or daddy found out and they came to you, you got the Big Mac. Now, you got leniency when you said, hey, such and such happened and I did this.
And see, that's me. I'm one of
Now
them.
you got the leniency. And see, I think that is what we need to bring to a relationship. If you mess up, don't wait for you to don't let you brew, don't let it build
fester.
up. Don't let you sit up there and cook dinner and ooh.
Fester and get mad.
No, come in and kill it.
Okay, now I will admit I am one of those. A lot of times when I get angry, like my jaw will lock.
Michelle said y'all forgot loyalty.
Yeah, it's loyalty. When I get angry, my jaw will lock. And that is because when I was younger, man, popped off. Everything that came to my head, every anger that I used to fight a lot, used to be angry. I was a very angry person. So now now that I've gotten older, when I do get angry, my jaw will lock because in locking, and I swear it's psychosomatic, I don't know what it is. My jaw will lock all on its own because I need to process before I speak on it. Because
Understood.
I have, unfortunately, a very interesting way with words.
Yeah.
And I have a very interesting way with words. And I will tell you something that will have you wondering what the hell just happened if I speak out of anger. So I don't do it. It is very, very, very rare where you are going to get an immediate reaction out of me. And I'll generally give you warnings. You're talking, you run off at the mouth. All right, that's enough. You good, you cool, or I'm gonna walk away from you. You keep it up, I'm eventually, that jaw is gonna unlock.
See, that's the part where you need to have the security. Because you need to be able to see, I think a lot of times people are in relationships with what they call a strong woman or what they call a good man.
The idea of that person.
And it's that ideal in their head. And sometimes we can project our idea. We can make you fit into our little mold. And I think a lot of times when you don't have the security and you don't have the history, and that person needs to walk away, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna walk away? Oh, you're going to see your ex, huh?"
Down bad with some nigga down the street.
You see, you need to have established in a relationship that you know, okay, Dee need her space. Kenyatta need her space right now. And be secure in your relationship that it ain't gonna come up 3 months. Oh, you remember the day we had that fight? We was on a break. What? We don't take breaks.
Oh, really?
Right, because he pulled that move sleeping on the couch one day, and it didn't go
I
over.
just didn't want to argue.
It didn't go too well with him. And I told him I don't give a happy ham sandwich what we dealing
I ain't
with.
with you on that one.
No,
Look,
bro.
let me-
You're not leaving my
Go
bed.
ahead.
It's
Go
like
ahead.
I told him I don't give a happy ham sandwich. What's going on? His toenail better not touch me. My toenail better not touch him. But he better have his rusty crusty on the other side of that bed on his pillow where it's supposed to be. I don't care how frustrated we may be with each other at any given point in time. Because see, the one thing that won't happen is you're not gonna get comfortable getting pissed off and getting the hell on down. Because see, one of these days you'll get the hell on down, you'll walk out, you're gonna get yourself caught up in something, and I'm gonna have to kill some folks.
But look, bro.
And so it's like, it's just, it's so, you know, you just don't, so when you don't allow the opportunities to even start, then you just, when you nip it in the bud, then it's like, because there have been times where, yay, and that's just real talk. There have been times where he's been hot enough at me to want to throw me out of a 6-story window. And there have been times I wanted to kick him out, you know, off the top of a 10-foot building. But when it's all said and done, we said I do. So we gonna either do or don't. So which one is it gonna be?
See that incident she talking about, that's before we got married. I actually left the house twice to try to avoid the argument. And then when I came back, I came in the room to get in the bed, and she started up again. So
He
I
did
said,
not let me, and see,
I
that
said,
goes
you know
back
what? I'm going through.
but that goes back to what Tiger said, though.
I understand
Listen.
that.
They use
No, you need to, when, and what men need to understand is when a woman is talking, shut up and listen to what she's saying. Let her express, because all the time we don't need y'all to fix stuff. Sometimes we just need you
y'all to listen. Damn it, listen.
Listen, Lisa.
I'm sorry, I had a moment.
Lord have
But see,
mercy.
that's what we do. See, it takes a long time. You know, you're in a relationship and your wife comes home and she's, you know, Susie at work, she get on my nerves, and so always taking my stapler and blah 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 blah. And so, you know, the immediate reaction from a good man is he want to fix it. And that's our nature. We're protector, provider, fixer. And that's what our nature is. And so we have to learn that, okay, don't fix this.
Is this
don't
a
fix
fixable
this.
moment, or is this one of
Right.
those that she just needs
Just
to vent?
right. So we have to learn that.
And see, even when you're in the relationship and the two of you are the ones having the issue, the incident he's talking about, it was the two of us. So I would pick, he's correct. He left the house twice, and when he walked back in, I picked up where I was my point, because my thing is, if we are trying to resolve an issue, that we're having, don't walk away from me. We may be in a heated discussion,
Right.
but if we are not to a point where it's getting physical, don't walk away. Let me finish my point.
Well,
And if you need to walk away and process it, fine. But if you walk away while I'm in the middle of trying to tell you where my heart and my head is, we're going to pick it right back up, partner, when you walk back through the door. And now he's gotten to the point where he realizes
Well, like I said earlier, that was in the beginning.
in the beginning.
You see what I'm saying? We were just getting started. You know what I'm saying? We might have been married, a month and a half? Well, no, we hadn't even got married yet. We were waiting to get married. So I'm like, hold up. I mean, I was new to the whole situation. You were new to it,
You're not having to.
but once we came to the point of understanding each other,
But see, even since then, welcome to the marriage shop. Welcome to marriage after the wedding. But even after the fact, you have to look at the fact that I don't care how good a person may be or how strong, because I was in my late 30s when we got married. So I was set in my ways, had always had my own place. And when it got to the point where I actually gave up closet space and gave up dresser drawer space, it freaked me out, because I was like, hold up, this is like for real, like for real. Like, he's here. You know, it was, and it got real at that point. And in all transparency, it was like, even though psychologically I knew and physically I knew, it was just like there was still a part of me that was like, but you
I was
always said
confused.
you
Just
would
go on.
never get married. And for a long time I held on to that. That like, okay, I said I wasn't gonna ever get married to anybody's son. And I had been engaged a couple times, but I was like, I was never getting married. And that was because I never wanted to be in a position where I would ever have to get a divorce. It was never so much as I was afraid to be in a committed relationship, but I never wanted to be in a position where I would ever end up potentially having to get a divorce. Because it's easier to get rid of a cat if you don't have the law in the
Yeah.
middle of your business.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. Crazy though it may be. Strong, good man I did want. But I had to learn how to be a strong woman, but be a strong woman to a strong man, which was hard to do. And there are times, and Kenyatta will tell you, there's still times that I struggle with the fact that I have somebody that I have to, quote unquote, not answer to because that's the wrong term, but that I'm accountable to. Because when you're used to just living your life as you want to live your life, that accountability comes in with, like you were saying, with your partner. Just answer the phone, or just say, I'll call you back, or whatever the case may be.
Well, you know what? Life becomes real easy when you set priorities.
And you get an understanding.
Like when you set your priority. I was in a discussion a couple of weeks ago, and it was about he's watching a football game and she's picking out the colors for the bedroom, and she's just interrupting, and he's watching the football game, and you know she's disrespectful, you know, but he's ignoring, and the conversation was going back and forth, and my interjection was, when your priorities are set, it's not a problem. Because immediately when I'm watching the football game and she's talking in my ear, okay, now I got two things. I got football, I got my wife.
Which one?
My wife is more important. Let me cut this football game off. Super Bowl off. What was it, babe? I didn't catch that. Then she's like, whoa, you didn't have to cut the game
I
off.
matter. But see,
Right.
that's an I matter moment.
And
See,
right.
That's an I matter moment.
That. Because I think a lot of times, you know, they'd be like, oh, you got a good man, you got a good woman, this and that and the other. But if you do not feel like you matter to that person, it don't matter what anybody else's perception
Or what
is.
they do for you or whatever, if you don't feel like you matter.
to that person. It makes all the difference in the world.
And then her
And that goes
reaction,
both ways.
her reaction is gonna be, oh babe, I'm sorry, cut your game back on. We can talk about this later. And I missed 30 seconds.
But see, that's when you have to, like you said, when you get your priorities lined out, that, okay, yeah, I do this, and this, but this, and this has to be number one. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here
Ooh, twin,
and
yes.
run out, you know, doing this or that, knowing I got a wife at home. That's just not who I am. I'm
And
not
she
built
half
that way.
crazy with a sister to match.
Oh well,
And a
look,
niece.
I got
It's
a,
easy to put your.
I got a.
It's easier to
You so stupid.
not
Y'all
put
get me
yourself
crunchy.
in a position.
Yeah, once you, like you say,
Right.
once you get to that point in life, man, to where you begin to understand what you desire in your partner, and you bypass all the garbage, you work your way through. Okay, I this is how I learned my wife. This is how I became the man that she wanted me to be. got to the point where I would beat her. Well, not beat her, but I would meet her
No, I'm about to say.
at her own game. If I knew she was going there, I was gonna cut her off at the pass and say, "Baby, can I help you with this? Can I do this? Or can I do that?" I'm going to get ahead of her.
Right.
Why? Because I want her to feel like she's the most important thing in the world, which she is.
Until they get pissed off with me, then it's like,
Or them ugly people is
oh,
playing
the
on the
ugly
football.
people, yeah.
Hold up, bro. Hold up. Y'all leave the spinners alone. You know, stanky ravens ain't no good.
Hey,
either.
hey,
Hey,
no,
hey, hey,
Now
hey.
y'all know we don't do
Hey,
the
hey.
Steelers talk,
A
man.
house
We don't do that.
divided, a house
We do not
divided,
do the Steelers talk, man.
a house divided. But you know,
Steelers and Raiders in the same house.
In the
Yes,
same bedroom.
yes.
a house
She's a Ravens
divided,
fan. I'm a Steelers fan.
a house
In the same
divided.
bedroom. Not even in the same house. In the same bedroom.
In the same bed.
Yeah, that gets real interesting.
Yeah, it gets, yeah.
But you know that's one of the things that I love about our relationship is because we're so diverse, but yet we're able to still connect. You see what I'm saying? We're
Yes.
different, but yet we're the same.
And the one thing that, we're talking about good men, strong women, and you all can tell me, kind of what you feel, and you all are on the,
Yeah, I'm going to read
on
Twins'
the,
comments.
okay, go ahead, and then I'll say what I have to say.
So, Kevin says, I find arguing to be a complete waste of time. Truth Reign says, being a strong woman to a strong man is a critical balance, and everybody isn't equipped to do such. One must be honest with themselves.
I was just
I made the statement that arguing to one is just a heated discussion to someone else.
that is true.
Then I asked, can y'all hear me crunching? And then Truth Reign says, balance. That's a good example of when sometimes the wife should recognize her man needs this time. There are other times you give up your time because it matters. Consideration is key.
She is so full of wisdom. Oh my gosh.
Now, I will say, the quickest way, especially for me, I'm a very busy person. I have a lot going on. Stop rolling your eyes at me. I have a lot going on. I'm a very busy person. I have scaled back in the past 2 years, mostly for health reasons. But I have scaled back a whole lot in the past 2 years. Although things are starting to ramp up again. I keep finding myself, how the hell did we get in the middle of this project? But I will say that the quickest way to turn me off or to make me exit stage left is to make me feel like I don't matter to you. Because if I don't matter to you,
There's no reason for me to be
I
there.
did, absolutely. And there ain't no point for me being here.
And I had
I'm
to
not
get
going to
that.
sit up. I'm not going to sit
I
up
had to get
here
that.
and waste my time and waste my breath and sit up all types of night and wondering what's going on and what you're doing and where you at. I ain't got time.
And see, and that's what I had to learn about my cancer. Because he would tell me flat out, I feel like I'm second. But see, I'm a doer. I'm a doer. I show my affection by doing.
Love languages.
Right. But all he really all he ever really wanted
What's the quality time that
was
you're acts of
the
service?
quality time.
But you were acts of
Like,
service.
just to sit down and maybe watch a movie together. For me to put my phone down long enough for us to have a true laughing conversation. Or to sit up and watch the show that he loves that I hate.
Big Bang Theory.
What you said. And talk
Sheldon.
about and look and laugh at Sheldon.
That's the
And,
feeling.
And Amy.
it was like, and I had to realize that even though I was doing,
that wasn't what he needed.
that wasn't what he needed to see that he was number one.
But he mattered.
Right.
And I think that's, and we, some people blow off like the whole love languages thing. Oh, it doesn't matter. It
That was an
doesn't.
amazing book.
I'm going to tell you
It's one amazing.
from my own personal experiences, because I know G, just like I know myself, quality time is one of those things that is a priority. You want to show me that you love me. You want to show me that I matter to you. I need you to spend that quality time with me. Don't sit there. You're the best. You're the great. Yeah, stop blowing smoke up my ass. I'm not trying to hear that. You know, don't, if you want to give me gifts, okay, cool, but I don't need shit. I'm one of those
Exactly.
people, if I want something,
I go get it.
go get it for myself. Don't give me a bunch of bullshit gifts, because then I'm trying to figure out, well, what
What
am
you
I supposed
doing?
to do with this?
What's
No,
the
not-
alternative? What's
What's
the
the
motive?
motive? Why did you
That's
give me
me.
this?
Now that's me. What do you want?
Yeah.
And it was like,
Why?
Or what
Like,
have
you
you
gave
done?
me a flower, and that was so special to me.
yeah,
That was a beautiful thing. You gave me a rose, and I'm just like, oh, that is so special to me. But what's more important to me and what's more special to me is the fact that you're here.
Right, exactly.
Is the fact that you're here. You
Right.
took that time out of your schedule, out of what you were doing to be here.
right.
That's what's important to me.
And that's what makes the difference.
And it was just like, you know, he had been saying it to her for years, and she was saying what she was saying for years. And I'm sitting up here, and because of course I'm sitting either upstairs or on the couch across the room or whatever, and I'm going, do you two not hear
What the
one
other
another?
is saying.
Do you two not
Right.
hear each other?
But
So
see-
then I sat there and I literally, because you know at that point in time the love languages we hadn't had that discussion,
Right.
and I literally had to say to her, you're not giving him the time. He needs your time. He needs your undevoted, you know, your undivided attention. He needs your time. And I was saying to him, excuse me, she's doing all of this to show that this is how she, you know, that she loves you, and that she's trying to take care and make sure everything is done, because she's doing all of this. But there's a whole disconnect, because apparently at some point in time, y'all have not
Right.
Connected.
Yeah.
had that critical conversation.
She likes oranges, he's giving them apples, and
and she's running around with bananas. And so, you know, it's just kind of like, no.
Right.
it ain't
Right.
working out.
No.
But
So-
I think that's the part of I think in discussing, because I was actually in a little book club that actually discussed the 5 love languages. And
Oh, yes, we
I-
need to read what she said.
I think the part that was missed in the book, a lot of times everybody is going about trying to figure out and reading about what my love language is. But
You need
there's
to
the
understand
part of,
the heart
right,
piece.
that was the part that just kept slipping past everybody.
Yeah.
It's like understanding what do you need? What is your what do I need to put
And
into
that
your
was-
love?
And that was our
language?
disconnect.
That was the
right.
disconnect between the two of them.
And when she finally did point that out to me, it broke me all the way down.
Yeah.
Because we
that
had
was a rough
spent,
car ride home, I promise.
because we had spent, me and him had spent a few, maybe about 2-3 years where it would come up. And I'm killing myself trying to show him how I felt about him.
Right.
But I was doing it all wrong, because because he's big on, you know, certain things, the house being a certain way, and just so I was making it a point to do, but all he wanted was for me to snuggle up in his armpit and for us to spend that intimate time together, not necessarily that sexual time, but that
Intimate.
time.
That is absolutely, and you know, as speaking as someone who, you know, quality time is my love language, is my primary love language. So when someone is in my space and you can't be still, we can't spend that time together, we can't have a conversation, we can't,
Aggravating.
you know, we can't watch a movie, you so busy
On my phone, which was my
doing
my
every
thing.
damn thing else
Yeah.
until, you know, it's like, you do realize I'm sitting right here, right? Can you come sit
And
right
see,
here?
for me, just being in the same space
Watch this. I'm
was
finna mess with
cool.
both of them right now. We all started, you know, Netflix and chilling. And these two would amaze me. Because I'm sitting there like this right here, glued to the television.
Watching Netflix.
Yeah, watch it. We pick out us a show or whatever. And
No, he would talk about our show.
they know, but see, I finally got into it after watching a few episodes. So, but this is what got me though. This is them. They listening to the show. Ain't nobody watching. They listening.
We are watching.
But they on their phones like this here. They ain't there. I'm like, how do y'all even know what to say?
See, that's another thing that
How?
for men that we have to understand. It's like our highway. We've got this 10-foot wide lane of communication, and women have this 10-foot line of communication, but it has 4 lanes in it.
Exactly.
And so now you could be watching the show, but discussing the color of the bedroom and
Remembering the answer to
And-
a conversation
right.
2 days
it's
prior.
like, hold up, babe, stop. Okay, let's do this one at a time.
I tell her all the time, look, hold up, boo. How you gonna go from this conversation to that conversation? To this? Baby, you done took me through 5 different conversations and ain't made no point on either one.
Right.
Come on, stop that.
But we can talk to each other.
Exactly. That's what
And we can talk to
that's-
each other that way.
And look,
And so then he
as I
sits there and he
learned-
looks at us and he's like,
As I learned, I was like, you know what? Hold up, Gabe. Just sit back. Don't say nothing. Just sit back and watch them. And I mean literally, because they have done, been around each other so long, or dealing with each other, they could answer each other's question. They could. The comment that was made, they could answer it. I'm like,
In
wow.
understanding women in general, you're never gonna get a full understanding.
Exactly.
But
No need to try.
in getting a little crack in that egg, one thing you have to know is that we're made physically stronger, but they were made to be the helpmate.
They were made
So
stronger.
they're mentally
They're made stronger.
stronger. You're never gonna win an argument because they're
no.
mentally stronger. You're physically stronger. So hey, let me hammer, let me build, and you figure exactly. You had to work all that other stuff out.
and that's what he said to us. He was like, look,
Just tell me what.
just tell me what y'all want me to do.
Right.
Where do you want it?
Right.
What do you want where? Do you want this outside? Do you want this in the basement? Just tell me what you want me to do and y'all
Just get out
go
my way.
away.
I'm
Yo,
gonna go ahead and build this, and I'm gonna fix the pipe under the sink.
And y'all going
you
in
work it
there
out
and
and
figure out what y'all gonna do, what y'all gonna wear, what you gonna talk about on the show.
But it just goes back to
But
it's gonna be different. A strong woman is gonna be different for every man,
Yeah.
and a good man is gonna be different for
For
every woman.
But
I
you
mean,
know-
there's certain key qualities that's gonna, honesty, loyalty,
dependability,
dependent,
stability, financial,
Right.
physical, mental, sexual, emotional, in every aspect.
some of those things some things are gonna just always be.
Yeah.
But it goes back to your core values, and once you're in a position where you're just you were raised right, or you learned correctly, whatever the case may be, and you're just honest with yourself about who. Because see, every strong woman, every good man, at one point had to be honest with themselves.
Truth.com.
Ooh.
Comments.
Okay.
She been killing it on
A lack
here.
of consideration will run you straight out the door, or at least it should. Because there are times you need his or her attention because one needs to feel and be a priority.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kevin says, I love the Big Bang.
You are not going anywhere.
Baby, I can have a break.
No,
No, you
you
can't.
cannot.
We got 30 minutes left.
No.
Oh, y'all bother me.
Okay,
You'll be
that
all right.
also speaks to knowing your mate's love language, which was one of the points that we all talked about. In a heated discussion, something may come out your mouth that you can't take back. And then again, that's one of those That is why you learn your mates, and that's why when you take the time to sometimes step away and then be like, okay, let's hammer this out. Let's work this out. Learning one's love language is easy to find out if you're paying close attention and
Right.
willing, to honestly communicate, not just talk.
Right.
Men are typically more simple and strategic, but that's why most desire that one-on-one time. The average strong women are accustomed to multitasking and making things happen.
Right.
And
Because y'all always had to do it.
we've always had to do it.
Exactly. I watched my
That's not
mother.
natural, that's a learned.
I watched my mother.
Really?
Somebody else told me that. Yes. And I actually agree with
It
that.
is.
But
It's
go ahead.
learned. I watched my mother, my aunts, all of them, my grandmother. I watched these women deal with men that was just but in the midst of all of that, they stayed strong. They took care of home. They took care of the kids, and cooked the food, washed the clothes. I mean, they did it all.
But it kind of goes back to what, because Sis and I had a dialogue, and she was talking about all the things that I was doing, and it made me think about Jizz. But you're handling this, and this. And I'm like, okay, but you're handling this, and this.
Right.
And like with him, I was like, but you're doing this, and this. So as a unit, whether it be this unit, as it relates to whatever we're dealing with, or this unit based on whatever we're dealing with, whenever it all comes together, I'm just doing what I feel is my part.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Right.
so much as I'm trying to do so much, but and because of how I'm made up, when I see it needs to be done, unless my body is on shutdown mode, I just go ahead and do it. Or if I get frustrated, because our bedroom was looking a certain way, even though it wasn't atrocious, but it wasn't the way it was starting to get on my nerves. So I just went on a rampage one weekend,
Ooh-wee.
and G was telling me, babe, can you just sit down? Can you just lay down? Sis was like, sis, how about you just relax for a minute? Okay. But I was antsy and I was twitchy, and I just finally said, you know what? I'm not gonna have peace until this is the way I need for it to be.
One of the things I've found about everything we discussed in here tonight, the most fun part about being with a strong woman or a good man is once you get past that stage of not knowing, being uninformed about your partner. When you step past that boundary, it turns into fun.
But my question is, and this is for all of you,
It's
and I really
fun.
want your answers. You last. When you are learning your partners and you have situations that arise that are tense, that are, where you all may not see eye to eye. And I know we talk love languages, but we also have to know how to communicate effectively with our mate. So my question becomes, I don't care how, I may be strong, you may be good, but regardless of how good you may be or how strong I may be, what can we do to ensure that even when there are things like on the video where old girl was talking about the tables turning, as long as I'm telling G, okay, well you got this bad habit supporting the tobacco company, or you do this and you do that, or whatever, then it's like, okay, but then he'll turn around and tell me, and I'm just throwing some stuff out there, well, you don't fuck me enough, or you don't do this, excuse me, big word, you don't, you don't turn around and comb your natural hair, you don't wear your natural hair now, I like to run my fingers through your actual hair and not have to fight through to get to your scalp, because, there are some women, that's all they do, they wear weave. They are pretend with him. He's like, as long as I'm happy with my hair, he doesn't care. But so don't think that I'm using actual examples, but but it's one of those deals where how do you hear your partner when they're telling you these things that because we were just talking about seeing yourself when they're pointing out these things that hurt, because even though they're true, you're like, but you're not supposed to see all that, and you're not supposed to be telling me I need to work on me, but you're my partner. And how do you not personalize that and internalize that when they tell you what you need to work on?
How do you not? How do you not?
Yeah.
If you are telling me you need to comb your hair,
Well, you ain't gotta be all up under this scarf tonight. You ain't gotta be all up under here.
if you are telling me you want me to fix you a cocktail, you should probably go take a nap. You might not want to wear that particular cologne. You know, you might need to get up off your ass, or let me rephrase that: we can go to the gym because I need us to be healthy. You need to stop smoking. You need to stop. You don't say that, I need you to. Because if you can't take it from nobody else, you ought to be able to take it from the person that you share your soul with. If you can't take it from nobody else, you and I are connected. We connected in a different way than you and here, but you and I are connected.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to going, and I'll be like, "You want a cocktail?
She sure does.
You straight? You want me to go get you something? Or you might need to just go on and go to bed, cause
Hey, drink this sleepy time.
yeah, let me go get you a glass of wine, and not go and find the biggest glass in the house. You know, but it's, if I can't tell you, if he can't tell you, who can?
Mm-hmm.
Who can?
Right.
If he can't tell you something that you should make you be like, well, hold the fucking phone, you know, and make you decide, maybe I need to look at this a little closer. Maybe I need to go stand in the mirror and be like, what the hell are you doing? If he can't tell you that, if I can't tell you that, who can?
Right.
The person I share my soul with, the person I share my mental, my spiritual, my heart connections with, or who should be able to say to me, you need to handle it.
And I not take offense. It may hurt my feelings.
It may hurt your feelings,
But I
if it
should
hurts
not
your
take
feelings, then
offense.
that means you need to be looking and doing some soul searching. And you need to be looking at what it is that has it, unless it is something that they are doing in as a means of, control. Excuse me. If it is a means of belittling you so that they can control you, if it is a means of, let me get under your skin because it's something I don't want you to do, so let me get under your skin. You know, let me break you down. Let me minimize who you are as a person.
Oh, they pull that narcissistic.
But I mean, if it is, I'm saying this to you out of love, boo, you need some wine.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Baby
using,
girl, let me go make you a cocktail.
right. And see, I use me as an example because I don't want people thinking that we're throwing off on anybody else. So that's why I personalized the question. It applies to
You asked
everybody.
me if I needed a cocktail.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm
Yeah.
talking about for the sake of those that are watching, because I don't ever want people to think that we're ever trying to throw off, because we don't throw off if we have something to say. We just say it directly. Yeah. But Mr. Tiger.
Well, I think that, first of all,
even as a friend, not even a relationship. If you're just gonna sign off on my BS, you're not my friend.
Exactly.
What I was looking for.
Cause you know what?
You said what I was looking for.
You were the one. You was like, you need to shake that shit off.
Yeah, exactly.
You did, and he did. He said that to me. I was going through, a whole little emotional, and I just wasn't myself. And he was like, "You need to shake that shit off.
You can't.
Like, I need you to come back. You need to shake that shit off." And I had to really be like, "Am I acting? So am
Am I really in some
like,
kind of
am
weird
I
space?
really?
Am I-
Yeah.
yeah.
So I definitely. So I get that. But continue, please. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but you need to that's an insecure person that is gonna surround themselves with people and even in a relationship with somebody that's just gonna sign off on their BS. If I got if I got this shirt is 3 sizes too small, look like I got it from Baby Gap.
See, you know what? You know what? You know what?
I ain't got nothing to do
He
with it.
said, baby girl.
I ain't got nothing to do with it.
And I'll be like, how you like my shirt, G? And he be like,
Children's
oh, that's
place.
a nice shirt.
I'm be like, the
That ain't
shirt
my
cool,
friend.
but that's too small. You got a little brother clothes.
Right.
I'm just going straight up to
We're gonna
you.
get you to get into one. Look, we're gonna
get
give that to the little niece. You need to.
Because when I go out and I look like an idiot, I'm be like, yo, G, where was you at, bro?
And why you let me
Why
look like
you
that?
let me?
Why you even let me go
Why
out
you
looking
let me
like
do
that?
that?
Yeah.
Right. And so in a relationship, it's you're a representation of me. So it's like we're in the house and it's like you going to Walmart. Babe, you gonna wear that to Walmart? You gonna wear that to Walmart?
Truth moment. I'm gonna stop going out looking like I'm homeless.
Okay, because that is a whole conversation in our house. I'm like, you do realize that we're on. People see us. You cannot walk around looking homeless.
Sweats have always been my way of life.
No, because when somebody see you, guess what? They're gonna say. They're not gonna say, I saw Kenyatta, I saw D, I saw Tiger's friend.
Looking like a bum.
How you get attached to me?
Right.
Cause I found you on the
Right.
side of the road. I picked you up, and we just been
And
together
that-
ever
and
since.
then-
Yes.
Okay.
But so I think in relationships you need to let people have their time too. If we come in and you're saying, okay, Tiger this, Tiger that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, my response, even though it may be honest and it may be truthful, but I don't need to respond because it's too much like a comeback, like one up in you.
Snap back. Yep.
So,
Clap back.
you know what? Today, it's going to be about me. Go ahead, give it to me.
He's done that.
And then tomorrow,
He's done that.
I'll be like, hey, babe, yesterday I took it, remember? I took it, I made
He's
changes.
done that.
And
He's
now
done
it's,
that.
hey,
And I've done it as well, where
Right.
I've told him, okay, now I sat there and I heard everything you had. Now I need you to sit here and do the same thing for me
Exactly.
and hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
It's not easy though.
it's not easy.
It's not easy though.
It's difficult. And I mean, you have to be creative. When you're in a relationship, you have to be creative. Some things you may not feel comfortable talking about. You may have to sit in the bedroom in the dark and talk.
Yeah, and timing is key. You can't
Yeah.
say
And you-
off the wall crap at the wrong moment, like when
Right.
you're getting ready to be sweet with each other, and then
Right.
it's not always what's said, but it's like, okay, the timing really
Hey, we're
sucks, and
sen-
that
men-
just really sucked all the
we're
romance
sensitive
out of
too.
the air.
Men are sensitive too. We don't tell y'all that, but we sensitive too because we could be having a romantic moment and you come off with some crazy stuff.
And be like, man, it's okay.
This ain't.
But
this,
see, that's what I'm
this really
saying.
ain't
You
working
can
for
have
me right
romance,
now.
and you can have romance in the air, and then it's not necessarily a bad thing that's said, but it's like Well, damn.
Why you gotta say it now?
Right, and it just suck all
Yeah, wait
the
till after
aroma.
that.
It's like, man, now we got to rebuild and turn the microwave back on,
we just-
and
I ain't got time.
No, we
and
just,
You just put that ice water on me, we
You gonna
go.
go hug each other,
yeah.
like,
Call it
pray,
night.
rock,
Give you a kiss
rock each
goodnight.
other to sleep,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
okay, now you answer the
I
question.
catch you in the morning.
When you sleep.
Don't you
There's
wake
a-
me up.
There's a
You
statement
better wake me up.
that I've always, since I've heard it, Tyler Perry said this. He said, when you find a person in your life that is, telling you things, and you're letting them know that it's hurting you, but they don't try to change it, then that means they don't really give a hoo-ha about you anyway. But at the same flip of that token, if I love you and you my boy, I'm not gonna take no shorts with you
Right,
because I don't want to see you out there looking crazy.
right.
You see what I'm saying? But now it's like Kenyatta said earlier. If I bring something to your attention and it bugs you down in here, then it's something about that statement that I made that touched something in you that you agree with. You are in agreement with what I said because it wouldn't affect you that way. So instead of getting an attitude, like Kenyatta said once again, take you some time to yourself.
Right.
And see, my wife has came at me in some ways I was like, whoa, Nelly. But then when I walk away, she'll tell you, back home, before we moved up, I always kept an easy chair on my porch. I go out there, I kick my legs up, and I just sit there for hours on end.
Thank you. Listen to his music.
Listening to my music. And then when I come back in the house, I'm coming back in the house with, baby, I apologize if I offended you. What you said was right. I'm gonna work on it. And that's all any real person, whether male or female, can do.
Well, see, I think that
Just from my brother.
Go ahead.
just
That's an emergency.
what
call, yeah.
what G was saying, I think what he touched on was I had a real bad issue when I was younger, like in my teen years, like busting holes through walls, destroying dressers. I mean, real.
That was
Real
G.
anger.
That was G. He was that. I just
yeah,
put
punch a
around
hole
my
through a
feet.
wall.
Yes, that was him.
Getting into fights. And my mother was the one that helped me because she was like, I would be mad. And she was, I was a little boy and she's sitting down and she's like, what are you feeling? I'm mad. And she's like, no, what do you really feel? No, I'm mad. No, give me another feeling other than mad.
Mama helped you get to the root.
Right, because we have men, we feel disappointment, we show anger. We feel hurt, we show anger. We all, no
That's your
matter
default, though.
what emotion we feel, what we show is anger.
Or frustration.
Even frustration, we're
So
still
that
gonna
is
show anger. Everything is gonna come out as anger. So,
Because you all are conditioned to not be human. You're supposed to be robots.
gladiators.
Yes, you're not
Right.
supposed to have emotions.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I actually do love about G. And Yada, she makes me laugh sometimes because when he's dealing with whatever, he goes into this place.
Right.
And and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not
Identify-
saying anything that he
Identify
had.
the emotion.
Right, but and depending on what music he's listening to, we can get kind of gauge where he is. But that one thing that because he listens to it so loud, on his earpiece until we know exactly what song is playing. We can hear the bass line, we can hear the licks on the lead, whatever it is.
Right.
And I was just like, because, it was just grinding my nerves hearing that music. And sis turned, she said, but he ain't crying. I said, you know what? You right. And so and I've started to see and realize a lot of times when he's got things on his mind that we want to get accomplished or need to get accomplished, he'll go into a mental space and he'll go into the music. But then I think, and that one statement will resonate with me. But he ain't crying. Right. Now read because honey, my twin and your friend been working it out.
Okay, truth reigns. And she was saying correct is who we are. We know is when we're talking about women and the multitasking and the,
Yeah.
as you talk about the 10 lane, the 10-foot lanes, but there's
Yeah.
four,
Yeah.
there's 4 lanes in between. Excuse me. It says men are physically strong, women are mentally strong. This is not to say a man can't handle the mental stress,
Right.
but they're just not created for that purpose.
And that's why we have a helpmate.
That is the purpose of the help me. That's exactly what it says. Kevin says, Kevin better tread lightly. Because I saw this statement. Women tend to be emotional. Oh, okay. He said women tend to be emotional thinkers, where men approach things as divide and conquer. Truth reigns. Yes, women are more emotional, but that's why it balances out with a man who is typically logical. Honesty in a relationship towards your mate and self are one of the key elements. Very true. And Truth Reigns says transparency in communication is critical and required.
Right.
Yes, it may hurt, but one should also check self.
And
But that's maturity.
Right. And see, you all know for me, my word is, my phrase, my hashtag is personal accountability.
Yes.
That's written on my mirror.
It is hard. It's harder to look at yourself and be honest than it is to even have somebody else tell you something that you may need to work on. Because when you get honest with yourself, or I can speak for me, when I get honest with myself, there are no more excuses. I can no longer say, I didn't know that, or I didn't realize that. So once I realize it, I have to make a conscious effort to bring about a change. Boy, some major notifications jumping off, but they'll be all
Look, you
right.
see me? I'm like, what happened?
But it's one of those deals where, okay,
I thought it was going on too.
okay, are those? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's a situation where, I feel that once
Oh, sorry.
that once we are truly honest with ourselves, then that is when the true changes actually start to take place, or should start to take place. Because sis was saying, we're gonna, that person that you love saying, okay, we're gonna get healthy together. We're gonna go to the gym. Now she and I, we've discussed that. Now I'm a cardiac patient,
Right.
and I know that I need to move more. I know I find myself walking around the house, and doing different things, and I've started to make it a conscious effort to go up and down the stairs more, just to move more. But sis has said to me on more than one occasion, okay, we're gonna use this gym membership. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, the gym shoes are still sitting there, and so it's a cute little set of leggings and whatever big t-shirt I was supposedly gonna have on when we went. And so no real change took place because it wasn't of any fault of her own. But when she pointed out to me, okay, we're gonna do this. We need to do this, and I said, okay. The accountability became mine and mine alone.
Right.
And so when you're dealing with, you know, the strong and see and I'm glad that we're talking about, and I'm glad that G is here because he's been able to, you know, because me and Key talk about me and his relationship and our marriage all the time. But to actually have him saying some of the things we've already said and we've been transparent about, and it coming from the male perspective, you know, with you and with him.
Right.
It's one thing for us as women to know things, but it's different when we hear it from you all. You know, it's just like the video where old girl was saying that, you know, some women don't receive what the man says, and they go into this mode of, oh, well, he's a misogynist or he's this, that. No, boo. Like, and G's told me on more than one occasion, though, because we talked about different things. He said, a man that is truly down for you will tell you, boo, you need to clean this room up.
Yeah.
Because, see, I have my corner.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I would get frustrated because he's like, boo, bae, booty, you need to clean that corner up. But I could tell you how many layers deep and under what spot, whatever it is that somebody may need. But he'll tell me. And he was like, babe, the only reason I tell you this is because I love you. And I'm like, he said, and if I did not love you, even before we got married, I would have just been like, okay, well, hell, I ain't here to deal with cleaning her house, no way. It's like I'm going to go on and hit those skins and I'm going to go on handle my business. And so, and he's like, you know, any man that doesn't tell a woman, you need to turn it off before you put this loud, and I can hear him talking.
Hang on a second.
No, we live, and you need to get off of there while we on the show.
Can I?
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay. But
Look, hey, bro, I'm on
okay, we sitting up here on the
I'm on-
show,
I'm on-
and
I'm
you
on the
sitting
show
up
right
here.
now.
You come in the door.
and I'm trying
Here's
to,
him dealing with his
I'll
strong
call you
woman
back.
right now.
I'll call you back.
You sitting up
All
here
right.
now. He dealing with his strong. Now y'all about to see his strong woman. You really
Hey,
don't
then,
come-
nope.
Don't do that. That is not
We're
cool.
not doing it right now.
That is
Nope.
so not cool.
But it
right
wasn't
now.
cool.
It wasn't, I mean,
I understand that.
okay, but it,
I'm
okay.
losing family.
Anyway, back to the show.
Don't be screaming. I hit you with this thing.
I will throw something at
You
you.
play the pink.
but see, that's the, you know, but that's where, you know, those things come down, like, you know, with talking about, you know, just being straight up honest with each other. And it's like, while he didn't see anything wrong with coming back in, the reality is he wasn't thinking beyond his own conversation to the fact that, okay, they're on live. They're having their radio show. So I should be off the phone before I step back in there. Before I step back in there. It is what it is. True statement. It's hard, like we've been just saying, it's hard to hear the truth, regardless of if it comes in love or not. But once you realize it, then you just have to accept it. I was talking about you telling me about when you walk back in, a man that doesn't really care about you, like when you tell me about my corner and whatever the case may be, a man that doesn't love you won't care about the fact that you may have a part of your house that is jacked up and not cleaned up, because he ain't really trying to wife you no way. He just trying to hit the skins and go on by the business. But a man that really care about you is going to turn around and be like, hey, boo, or, you know, you need to go on and work on that there right there.
Well, I told you that 100 times,
But
it
I'm
don't
just-
change. That's
I
your
love
corner.
But my corner is better.
I learned to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is my baby's personal space. This is how she do it in her personal space. Oh, I'm gonna give her that.
But our common living areas, just.
No, the rest of the house they ain't one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying as far as that corner in the bedroom. That's all.
And so that's that. I guess that's that concession for the rest of the house staying right.
No,
See, I'm the same way though. I'm OCD. You see,
Yes, we know.
y'all moved me in. Y'all know I like the glasses lined up. I like the same type of glasses, the same type of dishes. My daughter broke a glass, so I threw that whole set away.
I'm gonna kick you in
It's
your
just
knee.
an odd number.
You should have broke another one and it would have been even again.
It didn't line up in the cabinets right.
it just didn't work out for
It
you.
didn't work out.
Kick you in your
So,
knee.
so I mean, I like the things the way I like them, and everything is, and I
In
got
order.
the same 2 red and gray towels. There's no brown. Okay. And I mean, I just like the things the way I like it. But I've got a little junk drawer. And this is a 3
It's your
drawer
catch-all.
thing, and it's my.
It's your catch-all.
But I mean, that's my organization. And so, you just understand. But one thing I wanted to get back to strong women and strong women and good men.
Good meaning. Mm-hmm.
I really thought about that a lot today and yesterday, and the one thing that it looks different for everybody.
Yep.
And it's not gonna be the same. What I see is not what G's gonna see. It's just not gonna be the same. It's gonna be different for each person. But the one thing is, I was a person who said, hey, my next wife is gonna be 5'4", size 6.5, heel shoe. I was just like,
Wait a minute.
I mean, I was that.
Wait a
Kenyatta.
minute.
I know. Yeah, he's very serious.
I was, I
Wait a
mean, I
minute.
had it down to a T. Like, if she walked down the street, okay, that's her.
Yeah.
And I had to come
He's
out
very
of that.
serious.
I had to come out of that.
Did you?
Because you're limiting yourself.
Exactly.
You're limiting yourself. And the appearance, it's like reading the cover of a book and assuming you know all
What's
the
in the book.
pages. So you've got the one person that you may have eliminated may be the person that fits once you get to know them.
Yep.
I think we've come to a society and time that we have situations and problems in relationships because we don't know people. We're in a relationship with somebody we don't
I
know.
don't even know.
Right.
We don't take the time to date. We don't take the time to talk.
Right.
I was watching a show just yesterday on TV, and they were engaged to get married. They were doing the wedding plans, and they were looking at a house, and he's like, well, we got to get a 4-bedroom for the kids. And she's like, what? I don't want to have kids.
All that changed.
That's
you know-
just a perfect example of
Critical
being
conversation.
in a relationship with somebody that you don't even know.
But
So they making wedding plans.
that goes
Yeah.
back to
Yeah, planning the wedding.
that goes
wedding
back
planning and
to
all.
back in our day when we were younger.
Yeah.
We had to. Well, I don't know. If I dated a girl, I had to go meet her parents. You know what I'm saying?
He's like,
and it was a certain time that she had to be home. We had guidelines, morals, different things that were put in place. And nowadays it's just okay. She got a banging body. Oh, he got a banging body. Let's just get to bed and jump in the bed and be. This is what everybody takes their relationship from. It's not based on knowing the person. It's based on sex.
Right.
the sensationalized relationships from television have warped the reality of relationships.
That goes back to when mama's not home because mama got to go to work,
and daddy's gotta go to work, or that, you know, the government, Mr. Government Conspiracy Person, that, you know,
Yeah.
But I
the
agree with
government
that,
done
though.
told mama is like, oh, you can divorce him, we'll give you
Food
this
stamps.
supplement, we'll
There's
give you
government
food stamps.
documents
you know,
validating that.
We'll give you all this stuff, if you just leave that man, we'll give you all this stuff. So, it's, they're breaking up the family, so daddy wasn't there to say, you know, who's taking you to the movies? No, he can't pull up in my driveway and blow the horn, he needs to knock on the door.
Exactly.
And he needs to come get you. He needs to say, hey, Mr. Gray,
Is it okay?
is it okay if I take your daughter to the
Hmm?
movies? What time is the movie? What time's the movie over?
She needs to be at home at this time, you know?
Right. So,
And I
Oh.
mean, that's
okay.
one of the key issues of today, you know. You have those good men, you have those strong women, but the way things go now a day is just nothing like nothing that we're used
we don't
to.
date.
Exactly.
We don't date. We don't go out to, we don't sit in the park.
Thank you.
And we don't sit in the park and talk. We don't stay on the phone. We don't stretch the cord from the kitchen all the way
I
to
know,
the bedroom.
right.
We standing around the corner trying to talk, and mom and daddy is
Ignoring the beat.
yeah.
Can I tell y'all something? It's funny that you mentioned that because when me and her met, when I tell you every single night for about a good 2 or 3 weeks, bruh, we did not get off the phone until daybreak every single day.
See, that doesn't happen.
And I mean, we would just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
It doesn't happen anymore. Just, we don't get to know. We don't date. We don't get to know each other.
And on that note, I want to thank our guest, Mr. Tiger Gray, who's actually technically supposed to be a part of the show. I'm just saying. He just ditched us at one point in time. But he came back because, you know, I was going to have to go find him. And our own Mr. G Trip.
I was doing the most here.
But I just wanted to thank everyone for joining in with us tonight and tuning in. And but again, so give some serious thought to the things that we've talked about here tonight. You know, strong women and good men. And I think one of the things, before you go out there and you say that you're looking for a strong woman and you're looking for a good man, you have to ask yourself, are you? Are you a strong woman? Are you a good man?
And what does that really mean for me specifically?
Specifically.
Not pacifically, specifically.
Just want to interject, sweetie. I'm sorry for coming back in on the phone.
Thank you.
Listeners, everyone, forgive me. I wasn't trying to interrupt
Yeah,
the show.
because y'all saw me go from 0 to 60 real quick.
I'm just taking care of little family business. That's all. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you.
I ain't kissing your mouth with that stuff on you. Stop.
And there they go again.
And here we are.
So I just want to tell everyone thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you pay attention over the next few weeks. Again, we are also doing the spoken word contest. That is ongoing. It is it's sponsored by Livewire and
Whoop,
Seoul,
whoop.
Indiana. So if you would like more information on that, please get in contact with us at this thing called Life. On our show page or at Key and D, the page for Key and D. And I just want to remind everyone that we are going. It is still a go. We have had some challenges with this event.
Ooh, so we know it's gonna be
So
fun.
we know it's gonna be some goodness going on. So join us on February 23rd. Please get at us for more information about that. You join us for our anniversary party. We will have spoken word. We will have vendors. We will have some special announcements. We will also that'll be the first episode of our other show, which is Wind Down.
After dark.
Yes, this thing called Life After Dark.
Yeah.
So, I want to just thank everyone again. Please tune in for next Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on New Beat Radio. This thing called
Life.
Have a good one, y'all.
Yeah, that was great. I need to excuse my hand, you all.